We are joined now by Josh Teetons, McLennan County District Attorney, who's here to share some of his legal expertise. Josh, a verdict came down today, and it was for criminally negligent homicide. Please tell us what that means in layman's terms.
Yes, ma'am. So that has to do with the mental state of the defendant, the suspect in this case. And if you are charged with murder, you have to prove beyond a reasonable doubt that they committed that offense either intentionally or knowingly. Below that is manslaughter. That is a reckless offense mental state. And in this case, the jury came back and said those were not met by the state. In fact, it was only criminally negligent homicide, which has a low burden of negligence, as it's titled, much like a civil case with a car accident. That could be a negligence level. If a reasonable person should not have been speeding, should not have been driving erratically and caused an accident. Or another example, if a business owner is aware that there is a broken step and they refuse to fix it and somebody slips and falls, that is a negligent level, and that's the level that the jury had to find the mental state of that defendant was in.
And on that highest level for murder, what does that mean in a court of law?
Absolutely. So those all have varying degrees of punishment. So the biggest difference with murder versus negligent homicide is going to be the time. Murder is 5 years to 99 or life. And in the case of negligent homicide, that is a state jail felony with a maximum of a 2-year sentence.
And we were talking about intent a little earlier. What is the difference in finding intent in those two different charges?
Yes, so the jury would have had to found that he intentionally, by his actions, wanted to cause the death of that other individual, either by knowing that his actions would do that or specifically planning and intending to do so. They did not find that. They thought that instead a reasonable person standard should have known that that gross deviation of bringing a knife into that bathroom could have and ultimately did lead to the death of that other individual.
And as for the jury, what is the burden in them deciding one or the other?
This requires a unanimous verdict. They have to be proven beyond a reasonable doubt, so that's up to the state. They have the burden to prove that. In this case, the defense was asking for an absolute acquittal based on self-defense. They did not think that that had been met by the defense. And so they came back with their guilty verdict, and it was unanimous for that lower offense level.
Any last insights you may have that you want to share with us today?
I would just commend both parties, both the state and the defense. This was a very complicated case. It had taken a lot of time to get to trial from everything that I knew about it. And I think they did a good job presenting what evidence that they had, and that jury did a very good job of deliberating very carefully and weighing all of their options.
Josh Teetons, thanks so much for joining us today and sharing your insight.